Welcome back to the channel, where we dive into the biggest global stories. Today we're breaking down the escalating tensions between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. Russia just launched its largest drone attack on Ukraine, and Trump's patience is wearing thin. Let's unpack what happened, why it's happening, and what it means for the world.
On Wednesday night, Russia launched its largest drone attack on Ukraine since the beginning of the war, bombarding the country with more than 700 drones and a dozen missiles. That attack came a day after Trump said he was very unhappy with Putin during a cabinet meeting. It is just the latest sign of deteriorating relations between the two leaders as Trump is outwardly losing patience with Putin. Trump is now considering additional sanctions on Moscow and has promised to make a major statement on Russia.
This unprecedented attack, with over 700 drones, targeted Ukrainian cities and infrastructure, including civilian sites like hospitals. It came right after Trump expressed his frustration with Putin, signaling a bold move by Russia. But is Putin defying Trump directly? Let's hear from an expert.
Putin openly defying Trump?
I think the impression in the Kremlin is that you need to stay on the good side of President Trump, massage his ego, praise him, and tell how great he is, how grateful you as Russia are for his attempts to end this conflict on terms acceptable to Russia, and also how much this war is Biden's fault. At the same time, so far, Russians have seen a lot of bark from the American side, but no bite.
Alexander Gabuev from the Carnegie Russia Eurasia Center suggests Putin is playing a strategic game, praising Trump while pushing his war aims in Ukraine. Putin's goal? To weaken Ukraine and cut its ties with Western support, betting that Trump won't escalate military aid. But Trump's response might change that.
We'll send it. It'll be business for us, and we will send them Patriots, which they desperately need, because Putin really surprised a lot of people. He talks nice, and then he bombs everybody in the evening. So there's a little bit of a problem there, and I don't like it.
Trump's clearly fed up, calling out Putin's duplicity. He's hinting at sending advanced weapons like Patriots to Ukraine, with Europe footing the bill. But he's also planning a major announcement on Russia, which could involve tougher sanctions. Here's what experts think about that.
And I think that's where there's bipartisan consensus in the United States Senate to proceed with these sanctions, secondary sanctions on Russia that would deliver up to 500% tariff on any country that purchases Russian gas or oil or uranium. That's one way to get at it. The second way is to do what the Trump administration is doing, which is providing Ukraine with not just air defense, but with weapons so that they can defend themselves. Ukraine didn't choose this war. It's Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Putin could stop at a moment's notice and end the carnage, but he's choosing not to do that. President Trump has given Putin all sorts of opportunities for an off-ramp, and Putin has refused every one of them. So I think now it's time for us to really deliver a lot more pressure, both economically and militarily, with an eye towards ending the conflict.
Former CIA officer Dan Hoffman highlights the push for crippling sanctions on Russia's energy exports and increased military aid to Ukraine. These moves aim to pressure Putin economically and on the battlefield, where Russia's facing heavy losses and relying on North Korean troops. Russia's overstretched, losing influence in the Middle East and struggling in Ukraine. This could be a turning point, but Putin's not backing down, aiming to outlast Ukraine's defenses. Trump's next move could be decisive.
And so Russia's influence in the Middle East right now is at an all-time low. And that, coupled with the fact that Israel has decimated Iran's proxy terrorist network, as well as the successful strikes from the Trump administration on Iran's nuclear facilities, gives us the best opportunity we've arguably ever had to deny Iran a nuclear program long term.
But isn't it the Russian way to just continue to throw millions of troops into battle until finally the other side, I guess, gives up?
That's worked for them defensively. If you look back at World War II, they defended their home territory with millions of troops. In this case, they're launching an offensive war, which is not quite as popular as Putin would like us to believe. And there's going to be a breaking point at some point. They're maybe taking a quarter of a kilometer here or there, but it's costing them thousands of dead soldiers every day. That's why they're relying on North Korean troops to help the depleted ranks of their own army. I think we can make this war a loser for Russia by upping the pressure. We haven't done enough.
So, why is this happening? Putin's testing Trump, believing he can exploit perceived U.S. hesitation while pursuing his goal of subjugating Ukraine. Trump, meanwhile, is signaling a shift, potentially ramping up sanctions and military support. What will his major announcement bring? Stay tuned and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more global updates.